Greetings to all revolutionary comrades and my cherished viewers. We are appalled and indignant at the racially charged murder of George Floyd. We are sharing this solidarity statement to commiserate with the family of George Floyd and the many victims, known and unknown, of systemic racism in the United States. The Nkrumah Circle and the Nkrumah Caucus, both based in Ghana, condemns the racial genocide of U.S. police against people of African descent living in the U.S. The murder of George Floyd is not an isolated incident. This high-profile murder is part of a systemic genocide carried out against African people since we arrived in the European settler colony, today known as America. Yesterday it was the whipping pole, then hanging. Now today it is a knee on George Floyd's neck. This demonstrates the clear madness of Africans believing in institutions like the U.S. police force. Rather than protecting Africans, the U.S. police force unjustly murders African people in the U.S. with impunity. It is very hypocritical. This is happening in the U.S., a country that unjustly sanctions Venezuela, Zimbabwe, and Cuba, while praising itself as the global champion of freedom. What an irony. It is with great sorrow and agony that we, in the Nkrumah Circle and Nkrumah Caucus, extend our condolence to the family of our African brother, George Floyd. We know it is not easy to overcome the pain of losing a father, a son, a brother to a racist institutions for which for many centuries now has terrorized Africans in the U.S. We also unconditionally support the mass rebellion that has rocked the U.S. over the racist murder. The murder of George Floyd and other victims of U.S. racist system comes at no surprise at all. It is in the nature of the capitalist and European settler colonial America to be violent. This system was founded on the genocide of the indigenous people and the exploitation and oppression of captured African people. This system is one of reactionary psychosis to violently subjugate people of other races for their economic interest and to massage their artificial ego of white supremacy by empty words of democracy and human rights. We saw this manifest in the murder of Gaddafi during the US-led NATO invasion of Libya and murder of Patrice Lumumba very early in the independence of Congo. Until there are some fundamental changes in the nature of the US, this attitude of hatred and hostility towards the people of color is far from the end. In the recent history of mankind, Africans living in the US were enslaved as chattel for centuries on plantations owned by white capitalists and racists. They have had to live through black codes, sharecropping, Jim Crow, segregation, and other reforms of dehumanizing systems for centuries, where the color of our skins became the badge of societal disapproval and rejection. Despite any progress chalked by decades of resistance in many forms, from armed rebellions to nonviolent civil disobedience, the problem of racist oppression of Africans in the US persists. It is against this background that the Nkrumah Circle and Nkrumah Caucus believe repatriation and Pan-Africanism to be the effective remedy against systemic racial oppression of Africans, which is occurring not only in the US but also in other geographical locations of the world. We call for a global Pan-African front to fight this oppression. Organizing and politically educating the African working masses is certainly a step in the right direction. Kwame Nkrumah taught us that organization decides everything. We are also disappointed and indignant at the silence of various African governments. We encourage African countries to break off diplomatic relations with the US to register their displeasure at the murder of George Floyd and all innocent African people who have fallen victim to racism in the country. America's treatment of Africans is just like apartheid South Africa and Rhodesia, denying their fundamental human rights. The racial oppression of any African anywhere is a threat to the humanity and dignity of all Africans everywhere. We therefore call on the countries of the world which have expressed solidarity with the African struggle to break diplomatic relations with and sanction the U.S. in a coordinated effort to stop the U.S. from perpetrating this century-old premeditated acts of genocide. Once again, we stand with all those who have been victims of this old murderous system, including our ancestors. May their souls rest in power. African lives matter. We can't breathe. Forward to total liberation.